Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast. Ooh, do we have a lot to talk about today? Um, so obviously we're going to be continuing the discussion of Stranger Things season 4, but today we are talking about the finale of volume 1. So if you guys didn't know, they split up the episodes. I'm sure most of you guys know, but for those who don't, they released episodes 1 and 7, and they called that volume 1. And then we had to wait about a month in real time, so not too long, but it probably felt a little bit longer because I think everybody was anticipating, the last couple episodes. And then they released episode 8 and 9, and they call that volume 2, and both of those episodes are really really long. And today's episode was not today's episode, but episode 7 is pretty long too, and a lot happens, of course, because it's kind of like a finale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about episode 7 today, but up until a certain point, and then I will continue it next week, just because I feel like I don't want to try to rush through talking about the whole episode because it's just too much stuff that happens. And I just feel like it would be better to kind of like draw it out a little bit. For those of you that have seen, all the episodes, if you've seen season 4, then you already know what happens. So it's not like it would be a surprise or anything, but maybe it will be for those who haven't seen it. So I am going to kind of cut it off at certain points. So I'm just letting you guys know now. So you're not just like, what the heck? I thought you were going to talk about the whole episode. And let's see. And then, of course, like I said, I kind of wanted to start implementing maybe like a question or two at the end of my podcast episode. So that way, maybe you guys can comment and get a discussion going, or maybe it'll kind of um, make you want to talk to your friends or your family about it. And I think that would be more fun, just so I can kind of leave you guys with a question. And sometimes when I ask you guys questions, it's things that I really don't know, or if it's something I don't understand, I really want you guys to respond. So please comment. You can comment on my Facebook page. You can comment on my YouTube page. You can tweet me. Really anywhere on social media that you want to, but it'd probably be best to comment under the video just so I know what you're talking about, and then maybe other people can see it. And like I said, if I can get other people involved in and talking amongst each other, I feel like that would be better. And so yeah, I don't want to talk too long. I want to get into it because, like I said, it's a lot to go over, and I feel like my throat is going to be hurting by the time I'm trying to just talk about all of this stuff that happens. And if you haven't seen it, it's probably gonna sound like I'm talking gibberish because I'm probably gonna be jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. If you've seen it, then again, you already know what happens, and so you'll understand what I'm talking about or what I'm referring to. But I know there's some people that will watch this and haven't watched the show or haven't seen season 4 yet, and they're just gonna be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" So again, sorry, but it is what it is. So episode 7 starts off pretty much, I mean, it picks up right where we left off with episode 6. So if you remember last week when I was talking about episode 6, I was saying how they ended on like this huge cliffhanger. And of course, it was with Steve, who's my favorite character. And I felt some type of way about that because I was like, really? Like, you're really going to hurt my man Steve like that and then just leave us hanging? But, I guess they didn't really leave us hanging because they released the next episode. So it wasn't like you couldn't just jump right into the next episode. But they did that on purpose because they wanted us to watch episode 7 right away. So yeah, so Steve ended up being pulled into the upside down, and the last scene of episode 6 is just him like fighting these crazy bats. I call them bats out of hell because that's literally like what they look like and how they function. And they were getting him good. Like they were like legit biting him and attacking him, and that's how it ends. So beginning of episode 7, we see him like he's still fighting the bats, and then thankfully the rest of the Hawkins crew comes in and saves him. So Nancy, Robin, and Eddie jump in, and the kids, so Max and Dustin and Lucas, they stay behind because remember, the adults, I call them the adults, although they're not really adults, or the older kids, they go out into the boat, and they find out that there's a gate in this lake, and that's how Steve got pulled in. And then so yeah, they end up in the upside down, and I feel like this is the first, I could be wrong, but I feel like that was kind of the first moment in season 4 where we saw some of the main characters in the upside down. um I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember in the earlier episodes them going to the upside down. Obviously, they showed it kind of when Vecna was attacking people, and you kind of got a little bit of, I guess, him bringing his victims into the upside down mentally, so to speak. But it really wasn't any of the main characters jumping into the upside down like how we've seen in previous seasons. So that's how you knew things were getting real when this happened, and it was like, oh shoot, like they're really in the upside down now, and they're going to be having to fight like whatever is there besides Vecna, because he got other little creatures running around that's gonna try to hurt them and stuff. So I think when that happened, I think we were all like, oh shoot, like it's for real going down. And then so yeah, so they're in the upside down, and the rest of the kids, unfortunately, they get caught by the police because they're like off in the lake is like near the woods and everything. So when they get caught, the police are just like, what the heck are you guys doing out here? Like, this looks suspicious. We need to know what's going on. And then the parents get involved. And y'all know, if you've watched Stranger Things, like if you watched all 4 seasons, like the parents don't know crap. Like they don't know anything about what's been going on. And they pretty much, I don't want to say they're like neglectful, but they really just like don't know what's going on in their kids' lives. And they're not involved at all, like in the previous seasons. So for them to kind of get involved right now, like when things are this like chaotic and stuff, it was just like, dude, this is the worst time for the parents to know anything about what's going on. But I kind of feel for them because all they know is that these high school kids are coming up dead, and they're just like, what the heck is going on? Like this city or this place is supposed to be safe, and now we don't know what's going on with our kids and stuff. Is there like a serial killer on the loose or whatever? So I kind of feel for them because they just really don't know that it's all like supernatural stuff. So yeah, so the parents and the cops are involved, and they're just like, what were you guys doing out here late at night? Because remember, it's dark when they're doing this. And of course they lie, and they're just like, oh, we were just out, like that scene's kind of funny. Dustin's kind of just like, oh, we were just out for like a night walk or a swim or something like that. And so they're kind of stuck there at that point, because the cops are like, yeah, we're going to have to ask you some questions separately. We need to know what's going on. Like, are you involved with what's going on? Do you know where Eddie is? Like, at this point, they're still looking for Eddie. Eddie's just been on the run the whole season. Like, it's crazy, you guys, like insane. And then on the flip side of it, Elle, as we know, she's still doing the Nina project. She's still kind of, I guess you could say, swimming her way through her memories and all the trauma that she endured when she was in the Hawkins lab. And that's pretty much the only way that she's going to be able to get her powers back. And, to be able to fight Vecna and everything is to just relive everything, unfortunately. And all these things that she forgot that happened, now she has to remember. And the biggest thing is, this episode is called The Massacre at Hawkins Lab. So, it kind of all centers around that situation of what really happened there and how it affected her, and how it's affecting them now in the present. So, and that was kind of like the big question, I feel like, or the big mystery, besides, I guess, besides who Vecna is and why he's going after these kids and all that kind of stuff. Aside from that, I think everybody was kind of just on their edge of like, what really happened in the Hawkins lab? Like, how did all these kids die? Did Elle do this? Did something else do this? And why is it that Elle was the only one that survived? Because this is pretty much that. I mean, they show that it's not the opening scene in episode 1, but it's one of the first major scenes that they show this season, and they pretty much just drag it out through like all the way up until episode 7, making us wonder what really happened there. And like I think I mentioned in a previous podcast episode that I didn't quite think that Elle was the one that killed all the kids in the Hawkins lab, but I also was kind of just like, maybe she did snap because these kids were bullying her. Some of them really weren't nice to her. And maybe she kind of just lost control or something. Although I really didn't feel like that was in her character to just like kill a bunch of kids or just to kill for no reason, really. So I was just like, if she did do this, it would have to be like a pretty heavy motive for her to do that. So I was kind of on the fence. I was just like, I don't know if she really did this, but I'm also just like, what else could have done this? Like, who would kill all these kids and then just leave Elle, leave Elle to be alive? And then obviously Dr. Brenner survived, but I don't know if he was necessarily like, I don't think it was like the whoever, did this, I don't think it was like their intention to leave him alive. I think he just kind of got lucky, probably. I don't know. But I'm like, he should have been taken out at that point, to be to be honest, because he just be causing trouble too much. At least when it comes to Elle's life, I think. And so yeah, so she's in the Nina project, and she's still, kind of battling her memories and trying to figure out, because at this point she's still thinking, I did this, like I killed all these kids, I'm the monster here. And that's kind of her whole, I guess, internal conflict this whole season of like, am I the good guy or am I the bad guy? Because I've always been painted, since she's been friends with everybody, she's always been painted as the hero, as the good guy, the one that saves everybody. And then she's kind of just like, well, wait, maybe that's not who I am. Maybe I have a really dark past and I forgot about it. And, and it's kind of giving her like this identity crisis thing. So I felt like that was cool that they played with that this season, especially now that she's a little bit older. And I think she understands a little bit more now. And I've said this before, but I like the way they took the audience through this journey with her as well. And I thought that was cool, the way they kind of weaved that into pretty much everything else that's going on, because there's a lot going on. And then let's see, I literally have to look at my notes because, like I said, there's just so much going on. So bear with me. Oh yeah, and then we know military guy, he's still torturing the guard, trying to figure out where Elle is. And oh my God, just wanted more information, all that stuff. I'm tired of talking about him, honestly. I just thought I'd mention that because obviously that's a part of the episode. And that's another threat, obviously, that's going on amongst everything else that they have to worry about. But yeah, he's just too much. And I've said this before already. I literally, because just sit here and just dog this dude out because he doesn't know what's going on. And I'm like, you're supposed to be military and you're supposedly supposed to have all the answers, and you think Elle is the one going around killing these people? Like, really? Like, come on, man. And then you go and torture that poor man just to find out where Elle is. And it's like, what is the whole point of that? Because it's like, once he finds Elle and he kills her, what does he think that's gonna do? He thinks he's just gonna save the day, like the girl's gonna be gone and all these killings are gonna stop and then everything's just gonna go back to normal. Like, I don't know like where his brain is at, like where he thinks that's gonna, I don't know. But anyway, so that's kind of going on in the background. They're showing scenes of like him still torturing this guy. And that's pretty brutal to watch. So just a warning, if you haven't seen the episode or if you haven't seen that part, it's pretty hard to watch because it's just like, dang, he really, that dude, I forgot the guy's name, but he's a guard. And he was one of the guys that was sent to protect, like Will and Mike and Jonathan and all of them. So, he's one of the good guys basically. And it's like, dang, he really doesn't deserve that. Like, that's messed up. And he's like really trying to hold out, like not saying anything because he wants to make sure that Elle is safe. And he knows that was his duty to like keep her safe. And so I can't even imagine just being tortured like that and trying to not say, the information that because it's like, on one hand, like, dang, he's in pain, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want you to go after this girl because she's not who you really need to be looking for. But military guy doesn't know that because he's a dummy. Anyway, and so back to Elle a little bit. So with her doing this Nina project, we're seeing again a lot of flashbacks. It's a lot of references to season 1 and everything. And this is why I say you kind of have to go back and watch the whole show if you haven't seen it, because a lot of stuff just won't make sense. Although we are getting a lot of new scenes. So we're seeing stuff that happened to her when she was in the Hawkins lab that we've never seen before. But it also ties into season 1. So you have to watch from the beginning to really understand. And some of these flashbacks or some of these scenes that we're seeing is like Dr. Brenner putting these kids through these like weird tests and stuff, like these weird mind tests, to basically to test their powers and to see how strong they are and how they are when they go up against each other. And it's like this really twisted thing, y'all. Like, I mean, I understand, well, I kind of understand from Dr. Brenner's point of view that, he is a scientist, and when you have a science subject, you have to test it, and you have, these theories and all that kind of stuff. So from a scientist point of view, I guess I can understand maybe why he wanted to do that, because he wanted to see where each kid was at. But it's just like, these are people, like these are little kids, and you're making them go up against each other like this is some superhero movie. And it's just like, dude, like, you got to be kind of twisted to do that. I'm sorry, but he was for doing that. And he really didn't see nothing wrong with it either. Like, he didn't even think like how this is going to affect them later on, because clearly it affected Elle, like, really, really badly. And because of the result of that, so there's a scene where she's put up against Two, and remember, at the time, she's like way younger, she's way smaller, and Two is this he's not really like a big guy, but compared to her, he's like this older, like, bigger guy. And they're doing this mental thing, trying to go back and forth and then going head to head, and she wins. And that does not make old dude happy. Like, he's I think he was embarrassed, and I think he's jealous of her because she's strong. I mean, he's strong too, and I think maybe, like, I don't know if maybe he felt like the favorite at one point, and then once she starts showing how much strength she has, I think Dr. Brenner's kind of like, huh, like, this girl is strong. Like, I'm a, take note of that and stuff. I don't know. I just think, and you have to remember they're kids too, or they're all like kids or teenagers. And so I think he was jealous, and I think he felt maybe embarrassed by losing against her because she's so small and everything. And I think he just got a little ahead of himself, because before that, he's beating all the other kids, and then she comes up and she smacks him like all up against the wall. I was like, dang, that'd be embarrassing to happen in front of all those kids. So I understand, like, he's upset, but then the trying to turn it into a bully thing, I was like, no, you're doing too much. Like, he tries to get some of the other kids to, like, intimidate her, and they're like, oh, you think you're strong, but you're not as strong as us, and we could beat you, and all this kind of, and then they start messing with her and all this stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? I understand y'all to an extent, because, like I said, they're kids and they grew up in a really unconventional, traumatic way. And I understand him being upset and embarrassed, but to go and bully the girl just because she beat you, it's like, come on, like, you're being a sore loser at this point. And you're just being cruel, because it's like, it wasn't her fault. Like, Dr. Brennan was the one that put y'all up against each other. Like, you should be mad at him. You see me, like, ranting, like, it just upsets me, because I'm like, why are you going after this little girl? Like, there's like 5 of you and it's up against her, and they're trying to, like I said, they're trying to intimidate her and pretty much just tell her, like, you're not all that. It's literally like being in high school or like being in middle school, and people are like, oh, you think you're all that? Like, well, we're better than you, and we could beat you up if we wanted to, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, bro, see, that's why you get messed up later on in the episode, and I'll go to that late. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, just know that there's a consequence on his behalf for that. And yeah, let's just pause right there for a minute, because, like I said, I'm gonna be on a roll, so try to keep up with me, y'all. Try to keep up with me. But I did want to take a pause really quickly and let you guys know that my podcast is sponsored by Streann Media. If you don't know what Streann Media is, they're all on social media. You can check them out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. They have even a little set videos on YouTube of how to use Streann Studio, and pretty much just like what you could do if you want to use it as a content creator. And they're really heavy on live streaming, hence why I go live every week on Facebook. So if that's your thing, if you want to try it out, definitely check out the Streann Studio software. All you need to do is go to studio.streann.com, enter in your email, you get a login code, and then you're in. And you pretty much have access to all their little features and everything. And it's pretty cool. It's really easy and simple to use. It's what I use every week. And the reason why I'm really able to go live the way I'm able to post my recordings on other social sites is because I use Streann Studio. And like I said, they make it really easy. So I definitely recommend trying them out if you are a content creator, if you want to be a content creator, let me say that right. And you're looking to maybe do some live streaming, or maybe if you want to do a podcast like me or anything like that, really. I mean, you can kind of just do whatever you want. And just to get your content out there, because I know there's so many people that want to start being content creators, or they want to put out something, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how to go about doing it. And they think, well, if I'm not into tech, or if I don't, like, they're like, if I don't have all these gadgets and I don't put all this money into it, I can't do it. But that's not true, because this is free. So you can definitely use it for free. You really don't need anything but a laptop. So I just use my MacBook every time I go live and I do this podcast with you guys. And as you see, I'm just sitting in the house and I'm doing this every week. So it's really simple. Like, you really don't need much to do it. It's really just starting, is what it is. It's just making yourself start. So definitely recommend checking out Streann Studio. Like I said, if you're looking to get into content creation or live streaming or anything of that sorts, and let me know if you use it. Tag me or message me. Let me know if you're using it, how you like it, and then tag Stream Media as well so they could see that people are using their software. And okay, let's get back into Stranger Things. So, like I was saying, so this guy too, that's his pretty much the only name that we have for him, because you have to remember Elle is 11. Um and so he's 2. So he's been in the lab like way before Elle was. Um and so yeah, he's older and he probably thinks he knows more than her and he's stronger and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I get he's embarrassed and everything, but just to go after her like that really upset me, because I was just like, the girl, like, you guys are all in this together. You guys are all in this together. And you're gonna go and bully that girl. And it's not just him, because it's some of the other kids too that do it. But that part just really upset me, because I think too, because we know that she, earlier in season 4, it showed her getting bullied in high school, and it was Angela and like all those groups of kids. Now they didn't like necessarily like physically, well, I was gonna say they didn't necessarily physically hurt her, but they kind of did though. They didn't put hands on her, is what I'm saying. But they did make her fall at the skating rink, so that wasn't cool. Um, but I don't think they were tough enough or brave enough to really try to like hit her or beat her up. But the kids in the Hawkins lab, now they're on some other stuff because they got powers and everything. So they don't even need to really touch her. All they need to do is like, and then throw her up against the wall. So they were like physically hurting her. Like, at this point, like, y'all really trying to kill this girl. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I really did not like that part. And let me just say it now. So later on in the episode, um, Dr. Brenner finds out that Elle was being messed with. And I don't know if he found out because Elle didn't snitch on them, but I don't know if it's because there's cameras in there, or and he just went, like, if he just went back and watched, or if remember that I told you in her flashbacks there's this like strange, low-key, creepy, mysterious guy that kind of befriends Elle. And he's like one of the guards, I guess you can say that, like, he works there. I don't know if he said something to Dr. Brenner, but either way, Dr. Brenner finds out and he brings up all the kids, into this room, and he lines them up and he's like, you know, pretty much like, how they do like with teachers, like if one person, one person's about to get in trouble, but then you round up all the kids and you're like, okay, so something happened yesterday. I'm trying to find out who it is, even though he already knew. And so two, the guy that was really going after Elle, he pretty much is like dumb. Like, he tells on himself because Dr. Brenner mentions it, and then he's like, I forgot exactly what he says, but it's something stupid. Like, he says something and it pretty much just like tells Dr. Brenner, like, yeah, I know it was you. Like, he just tells on himself. And then he tries to turn around and lie when he's really confronted about it. And he's like, so you were trying to go after Elle, basically. And he's like, oh, did she tell you that? And it's just like, bro, like, this is why when you got hurt, what ends up happening is he puts like a shock collar on him. And he shocks the mess out of him. Basically, like, until you tell me the truth, I'm going to keep shocking you. And he's just lying. Like, he's just like, I didn't do it. Like, please believe me, Papa, I didn't do it. And I'm just like, bro, like, just own up to it so he can stop shocking you. So, like, part of me was like, dang, that's messed up, because this is a grown man shocking a kid. But the other part of me was like, you shouldn't have messed with her. Like, you should have left it alone. You should have just took the loss and walked away. So, yeah. So part of me was kind of like, I didn't really like 100% feel bad for him. You guys let me know how you felt when he got shocked. But then the other part of me was like, the whole situation at hand was just really messed up, is what I feel like. So, I was kind of like, kind of feel for him, but then I kind of don't. I think I just feel more for Elle, obviously, because she's the main character and because she was way younger in this situation. So it was just like, why would you do that? Just like I didn't feel bad for Angela either, because she got what she deserved. I don't care what anybody says. And I talked about that in episode like 2 or 3 or something, when Elle smacked her in the face with the skate, and people are like, that's so mean, like you're not supposed to fight violence with violence and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, like, don't mess with people then if you don't want somebody to come after you. Thank you. um and then let's see. um and so yeah, the whole time when they're kind of doing this Nina project for Elle, Dr. Owens and Dr. Brenner are kind of, you're kind of starting to see them be at odds a little bit. Because there's a few instances where they're asking Elle something, and Dr. Owens is always one to step up and be like, well, it's her choice. Like, if she wants to do this, we'll let her do this. Or if she doesn't want to do it, let's not force her. And Dr. Brenner's kind of like the opposite. He's kind of just like, I know what's best for you, and we're doing this for your own good and all this kind of stuff. And so, it's like really, she's not like some little kid anymore. Like, yeah, she's still young, but she's old enough to make her own decisions at this point. And it's like, you put her through enough. So why can't you just like let the girl be, you know? So I was definitely siding with Dr. Owens quite a bit in this. And you guys let me know how you felt about it, when, and not even just with Elle, but when they were having private conversations, you could tell Dr. Owens was definitely much more like, I don't know if you would say caring or more attentive, or he was more sensitive, I think, to what Elle was going through and what she's been through, and the fact that she's doing this and everything. And Dr. Brenner's a little bit more like, I don't know, I think he just sees it more from a like a scientist point of view. He's not really looking at it of like, how is this affecting your feelings, and how are you, it's not really like that for him, even though he says he cares about her like a daughter and everything. But I'm like, I think Dr. Owens has shown that he cares about her as a daughter more than Dr. Brenner ever has, if you ask me. So I don't know. But I thought that was kind of interesting that like as the season progresses, we kind of see them bump heads a little bit, I mean, they're still working together. And I think the only reason why Dr. Brenner has taken the time to Dr. Brenner, I mean, I think the only reason why Dr. Owens is working with Dr. Brenner is because he knows that um like he knows Elle in the sense of like he kind of raised her, and he was the one that started all these experiments with these kids and everything. So it's kind of like you kind of need the source to make this work, and I think that's why he's working with him. I really don't think he's working with him because he likes him or because he agrees with the like the way he goes about things. I think it was more of just like, if this is going to get her powers back, then let's do it, and like I'll work with you so that we can get her powers back and she can go after whatever's killing all these kids, which we know is Vecna, but I don't think they know that. I don't think they know that at this point, at least. And then let's jump to Russia. So Murray and Yuri and Joyce, they've made that. Remember, I said last episode they make this plan of like, we're going to get into this prison to save Hopper, and the way we're going to do this is if we switch roles. So if Yuri is Murray and Murray is Yuri. Sounds confusing, I know. But basically, they're just like, we need to get into the prison and save Hopper before something happens. So they get in, their plan works. And they get in like just in the nick of time, because at this point, Hopper and the rest of the inmates, they're all like in the, what do you call it? Like, it's not a cage, but it's like this big thing that was specifically built for the Demogorgon. And they're about to fight it. And so it's just like they come in and Joyce, and it's just like, oh gosh, because she comes in and you can tell like the way she's looking of like, am I gonna have to watch my man die? Like I have to see this, because Hopper doesn't see her when they come in, so he has no idea that they're there. He's just probably thinking like, shoot, I need to prepare to like fight this thing, because I think at that point he knew like the other inmates were gonna die, so it's kind of gonna be up to him and Enzo to kill it and to get out of there. And so he doesn't see Murray or Joyce or anything, so he doesn't know they're there. But they, immediately see him, and you could just tell like in their faces, especially Joyce's, it's just like, am I really gonna have to sit here and watch this? Like torture, just torture. Like they're just doing too much this season. And so, yeah, so this whole time Murray is acting like Yuri so that they think Murray is Russian and everything, and that he's captured these Americans and he's bringing them in to watch the show because they're just sick. They think watching these people like fight this Demogorgon is like a movie or something. And so, yeah, that was a really smart plan though. Like I give it up to Murray for that, because if he didn't speak Russian and if he didn't kind of look like Yuri, it wouldn't have happened. They would have, I don't know if they would have gotten in, or if they would have gotten in, it might have been like too late. So That's what's going on there. And then back in Hawkins, so the Hawkins crew, so like I said, at this point, the older kids are stuck in the upside down. Um, the kids have been pretty much caught by the police and the parents, so they're being questioned as to what's really going on. And the kids are smart, so they're like, still, trying to figure out like what exactly is going on. Not so much with the older kids, because I don't think they know at this point that they're in the upside down, but they're kind of just like, we still need to figure out what's going on with Vecna and why he's killing these teens and what's his motive and where is he going to strike next, basically. And then at this point, Erica gets involved, which I was like, yes, because I love Erica. I know some people don't like her, but I don't care because I love Erica. She's like one of the best characters, so whatever. Get over it. She's going to be in the show. If you guys don't know, Erica is Lucas' younger sister, so she's been in it. I'm trying to remember if she was in it from the very beginning. I don't remember. I really just remember her like last season, but I think she might have been in it from the very beginning, but she really doesn't get involved in like the whole upside down thing until last season. And so they kind of have given her a bigger role. And so I like it. I know, like I said, I know some people maybe don't care because she kind of like, she's like the sassy younger sister, wanted to know the tea. She wants to know what's going on and she wants to get involved. But she's smart though. So I'm like, let her help. And she knows about like D&D and everything. And like I said, she helped them out last season. So I'm glad that they included her in this season as well. So pretty much she's like, comes up to Lucas and she's like, I want to know what's going on. Like, I know you guys are lying to our parents and the cops and everything, but I want to know what's going on. And so, they have to tell her. And her and Dustin and Lucas are all kind of like, let's try to figure this out together, while Max is, I think she's being questioned at this point by like one of the police. So, she's kind of out of it in this scene, but all three of them are kind of just like, okay, wait a minute, like point A, point B, point C, point D, they're just putting it all together. And then there's a scene where the lights start flickering and they're kind of, and I think Erica's the one that notices, and she's like, wait a minute, like, didn't you say Vecna shows himself through the lights and everything, like his energy? And so pretty much what they end up finding out is that the older kids got stuck in the upside down, and that's their way of communicating to pretty much send out help. And if you remember back in season 1, when Will went missing, the way he was able to communicate with his mom, with Joyce, was through lights. So they used Christmas lights, and they were able to like spell out words and messages and everything to communicate with him. So that was a really nice throwback to the first season, because they were like, oh yeah, remember like Will used lights, so maybe we could do that too. And they end up using a what do you call it, a light bright? I don't know if you guys remember that, like that old toy where you put the little things in there and everything lights up. So they use that to communicate with them on the other side, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty smart. And again, I like the reference to season 1. And they're pretty much telling them like, yeah, we're stuck, we need help, like please figure out something. And what they end up having to do is, the older kids that are stuck in the upside down, they end up going to Nancy's place, because Nancy's like, hey, I got guns. Like, let's go, let's roll. We about to get Vecna because I got guns stashed. But what ends up happening is they go to her house and her room, and she's like, wait a minute, like my guns aren't where they were. They're not where they're, like where are they? And she starts noticing all these things in her room that have not been there for years. And she's like, wait a minute, hold on. And so she picks up I think it's like a diary or a journal, and it's labeled 1983. Remember, they're in 1986. So she's like, huh? Like what the heck? And so basically they come to the conclusion that the upside down is pretty much stuck in time. And not only is it stuck in time, it's stuck on the day that Will went missing, which was like what? Like Stranger Things. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Because this is crazy. So again, this is what I'm saying. There's a lot of references to season 1. So season 1, pretty much the whole premise of season 1 was Will going missing and him ending up in the upside down. And that's how they figure out what the upside down is. And when Elle, comes into the picture, and they pretty much become friends with her and all that stuff. So he went missing in 1983. And I don't remember, I think they said it too, but I don't remember the exact date. I feel like it's November. I could have that wrong. Let me know what it is, but I know it's 1983. And so yeah, so she's like, okay, this is the day Will went missing. So why, so it's stuck in like in that time frame. It hasn't moved forward since since he's been here. Um, and so her guns aren't there. So unfortunately that plan didn't work. And then I think they end up, I'm trying to remember, oh my God. I think they end up um God, I don't even remember. Like I don't remember what they do after that. Did I write it down? I really don't remember because I just remember them being in the house, and I know that was like a significant scene, like her finding out or them finding out that it wasn't what they thought it was. Basically, like none of the stuff that they had in, or none of the stuff that she had in her room is there anymore because it's all stuff from the past. And it's like these old notes from like when her and Steve were dating and stuff, and when she was still like a sophomore, I think freshman or sophomore in high school, because you have to remember she's a senior now. She's like getting ready for college. So it's like all this old stuff and everything. And I just thought that was trippy because I was like, what? I'm like, what are y'all trying to do to us? Like, this is crazy. Um, so yeah, so and then what else happens? Because there's just too much stuff going on. Oh, okay. This was something I wanted to mention too. So there's a really cool shot. This is for people who are like really into cinematography or just really like, I guess, film and everything. I know this is just a TV show, but there's a really, really cool shot. One of the best shots, I think, of the season where um, the kids. Oh, okay, so I do remember what happens. My bad. So the kids that are stuck with the police and the parents, obviously they find a way to break out or actually sneak out without them noticing because they're like, hold on, like the older kids in the upside down. So now we got to go. Like we got to go and help them out. So they book it. They leave out the window and they're on their bikes riding, pedaling, um, basically just getting away from the parents and the cops. And so there's a scene of them riding on the bikes, and then the camera like flips and it shows all the older kids in the upside down riding their bikes too, which I thought was like one of the dopest scenes. Like I really don't know much about cinematography, but I just know that shot was really, really cool. I was like, yo, that was dope the way they filmed that. And then also it's cool too because again, it makes you think of like season 1 and season 2 and stuff, and just back when they were little and all they did was like ride their bikes and everything. I was going to say back when things were simple, but things were not simple back then. Things were pretty crazy back then too, but I feel like it's just only gotten crazier. So yeah, that was a really cool shot. So look out for that shot. If you haven't watched that episode, one of the coolest scenes, I think, in this episode and in this season. And there's another really cool shot that happens in episode, I think 8 or 9. I'll talk about that when we get to that episode. But that was dope. The way the camera like flipped and then you saw like the older kids and everything. I was like, that's nice. I was like, they got the big budget now. Now that Stranger Things is just like super popular. I mean, it's been popular, but it's really popular now. And the way it just took off, their budget is like skyrocket. Like they probably got millions to be able to shoot this whole season, and probably like the best cameras and the best editors and all this stuff. So it's really good. It's like it literally looks like you're watching a film for a lot of these episodes, especially the last few episodes. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't even know, like I said, I really don't know much about cinematography, but I'm kind of interested in knowing the technical side of it, like how exactly they were able to do that. Was it all just a camera trick? Was it in editing? Um, I don't know. I don't know how they did that, but it was really cool. If you guys know, if anybody knows how they do that or anybody knows about like filming and everything, please let me know because I'd love to talk about that. Like, I don't mind nerding out about stuff like that because I thought that was really cool. That was really cool. So anyway, watch out for that if you haven't seen it. And then I feel like there was something else I was going to go back to. But before I do that, again, just wanted to remind you guys that my podcast is sponsored by Streann Media. If you don't know what Streann Media is, you can check them out. Go to studio.streann.com to use their software. This is what I use every time I go live. every Tuesday at 1 p.m. If you guys didn't know, I'm sure you do know if you're listening. But for some people that don't watch me live, and maybe if you just have listened on Spotify, or if you found me on YouTube, then just want to remind you guys that I do go live on Facebook every week. So I appreciate if you guys tune in live. And of course, if you can't, I always upload same day. So my content will be on my Facebook page, YouTube, Spotify. And sometimes I'll post little clips on my Twitter too as well. And then same thing with my TikTok. I don't think I've ever mentioned like my TikTok page. I'll try to maybe like be a little bit more active as far as posting stuff about my podcast on there. If you guys want me to, or if you follow me on TikTok. If you want to follow me on TikTok, my @ is Tiffany Morgan 21. And then, yeah, I think I said last week that I was going to put my social media handles in the comments or, on somewhere around here, and I didn't do it. So I'm sorry about that. I'll do that this week for sure. If you guys want to follow me, of course, like I said. And then, yeah, so if you are looking to create content, definitely highly recommend using Streann Media, and specifically the Streann Studio, because you get all these really cool features for free. And like I said, it's really simple and easy to use. I'm not a techie person, but I've been able to manage it pretty well. And there's still some other features that I don't think I've even fully tapped into. So yeah, there's a lot to do on here. And I think they're steadily working on creating new features, if I'm not mistaken. So once they kind of do that, if they kind of start adding some more new stuff, then I'll definitely try to demonstrate it to you guys just so you can see like what you can do on here. And hopefully it'll kind of encourage you to start creating your own content with them. And yeah, like I always say, just let me know, because I would love to support other content creators. So don't be afraid to tag me, message me, all that good stuff, so I can watch the kind of stuff that you guys do. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's see. I really feel like there's something else I'm missing here with what I was going to mention. But you know what? I'm going to continue it next week, so I guess I shouldn't worry about that. But let me go back to Elle for a bit. So Elle, in these flashbacks, again, they're showing her doing all these tests, her going up, against the kids, and then the kids bullying her because they're upset that she won and that she's showing her strength and all this stuff. And there's a scene where she's talking with I'm just calling him like mysterious, low-key, creepy, strange guy, the mysterious guy, the one that befriends her, that works in the Hawkins lab. And they're in the room and they're like playing chess or something like that. And he's talking to her and he's basically telling her like, Papa, aka Dr. Brenner, like he doesn't always tell the truth. Like you probably think he does, but he's not. Like he lies to you sometimes. And he's kind of just telling her like, you got to get out of here. Like this place is a prison. It's not all that you think it is. It's not this great place that you want to be in. And he's talked about her, not talked about her, but he's talked with her about one. So one is like the first experiment that Dr. Brenner did, and he's the one that pretty much made it possible for the rest of the kids to have powers. And so he's telling her like, like I was here when one was here, and this is what happened, and this is what went on, and everything like that. And like he's coming off somewhat genuine. Like it kind of seems like he wants to help her, and he's trying to tell her the truth about what really has gone on in the lab and stuff, and just telling her like, yeah, you need to get out of here. Like it would be better for you if you just weren't here. And so they kind of formulate this plan for her to break out, and he gives her a key card so that she can, have access to the locked doors and everything. And so when this plan is in motion, again, this is all in the past. So this is just all stuff that she's this is all stuff that she's remembering while she's doing the Nina project. So this is stuff that's happened pretty much back in like season 1, or I should say before season 1, things that we've never seen as an audience before. So this is kind of just filling in the blanks between, her being in the Hawkins lab and then her meeting up with the rest of the kids in season 1, like what happened in between that time. So when the plan is in motion, she tells the guard like, hey, I don't feel good. And he takes her to the nurse, and at that point, like she dips and she gets through the door with the key card, and then there's like a back I don't know what it is, but it's basically like a way for her to get through so that they can't see her on the security cameras and everything. And she meets up with mystery guy. Um, and he shows her like a tunnel and he's like, hey, you can go through here and you can get out. And she's like, well, what about you? You know, and you have to remember she's still like super young and everything. Um, Super young and naive, so keep that in mind. But she's like, what about you? Like, you know, you help me, I should be able to help you get out. And he's like, well, you know, it's like I can't fit through there, like I just need you to get out. And again, I think from the audience perspective, we're like, oh, okay, like this guy is like trying to help her. Maybe he does have another motive, I'm not sure, but it seems like he's been kind of honest with her for the most part, and he's kind of been the only one to be that way with her. Like none of the kids have said anything like that to her. Dr. Brenner is showing and saying nothing to her about it, about what's really going on behind the scenes. And so he's kind of been the only one to fill her in on things. And so it's kind of like, yeah, he's helping her, but at what cost? Like, what are you getting out of this? You know, I think that we were all kind of feeling that, like, wait a minute, what's really going on here? And so this is when we kind of start to see like, okay, hold on, like there's a whole other side to him that we didn't realize. And so they're talking and he's like, well, I can't go because I can't fit through the hole. Like, you just need to get out. And she's like, no, I'm going to help you. Because what we end up finding out is that there's like a tracker in his neck, and he says it keeps him powerless and it tracks him so they know where he's at all times. And so when they said that, I was like, hold on, like powerless. So you got powers? What? You know what I mean? Like things just start unfolding where you're kind of like, wait a minute, hold on. And like I said, she's like, well, let me help you. Like, you help me. I'm going to take this thing out of you so we can both leave. And like I said, at that point, I think the majority of the audience, like we kind of seen things kind of turn a little bit because we're like, well, wait a minute, like this is too much in his favor. Yeah, he's helping her out, but maybe he kind of knew that she would help him out too and take that thing out of his neck. It's like a chip or something. Because it's just like, this is too genuine. Like, of all the things that happened in Stranger Things, it's like, you know, I guess it kind of sucks. It's kind of messed up to say that, but it's just like, if someone's really helping you like that, especially in the Hawkins lab, like you got to know that there's something else to it that we don't know. Like there's another side to it that we don't know. And boy, is there another side. There is a whole other side that we didn't know, or at least I didn't know. Maybe some people figured it out by the end, but I didn't know. Like I was super shocked by the end, but that's where I'm going to cut it off, unfortunately. And like I said, I will definitely continue this next week, so don't be upset. We're going to continue talking about the rest of episode 7 and what the big revelation is, because there is a big revelation, or revelations, plural, that we find out in this episode, and how it kind of just all connects this whole season, and what from what we've seen in the beginning, and how it connects to the past. It's just all like crazy, you guys, like crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it off there, because if I keep going, I'm gonna be talking for like over an hour, and nobody wants to hear me talk for that long, guarantee. But before I go, I do want to ask you guys a couple of questions. One is just something I just kind of wanted to know, like personally, and the other one is kind of just a question to get you guys thinking, and I want to hear your guys' like opinions, your thoughts, and everything. So the first question is, when the older kids are in the upside down, when they're stuck there, there's I want to say maybe a couple times this happens, or it might happen 2 or 3 times, but when they're in there, the upside down, there's moments where the upside down starts shaking, and it's literally like an earthquake. It's happening. And for some reason, I never picked up on why that was happening. So if somebody could tell me what that was and what the purpose of that was, because I didn't fully understand that. My theory, or what I guess I kind of thought why that was happening, was because Vecna obviously like lives in the upside down, and he probably knew that they were there. I'm sure he can sense anything that comes into the upside down, because it's all a hive mind. Everything is connected. So I kind of felt like maybe he was purposely doing that to like throw them off or something. I don't know. Please, someone explain to me why there were these mini earthquakes happening in the upside down, and what exactly that meant. Like, what did that signify? Because I never really fully picked up on why that was happening. And I don't remember them explaining it either, unless I just missed it. I don't know. So somebody tell me that if you guys know. The other thing is, the question I want to leave you guys with is, so remember how I said when they're in the upside down and Nancy finds out that everything is frozen in 1983. So the upside down has not moved forward since Will was taken, and he was in the upside down for a while. I think he was in there for maybe like a week or two, I don't remember. But ever since that happened a few years ago, it's the whole place is just frozen in 1983. And I feel like for them to mention that, there must be some significance there. Again, it hasn't fully been explained, I don't think, in this season, but obviously we know there's a season 5 and we'll probably figure out more there. But I really want to know like what you guys think, because I am kind of scared, that like makes me kind of scared that the whole upside down is stuck in 1983, and it's not a coincidence. There's no way it's a coincidence that that's when Will went missing. That's the day that Will went missing. um and it makes me kind of scared and nervous because I've seen people say this, so you guys can let me know like what you think. But I've seen people say they feel like all of this is going to stop, or all of this has to end with Will, because it started with Will. Like season 1 started with him going missing, and that's kind of when they got involved in all the supernatural stuff. Now, mind you, Elle was the one that created the first gate, like the way they were able to get through the upside down, the way things were able to come through the upside down. So you can kind of say it started with her, because that gate was opened way back when. And I'm not gonna go off into like what really happened, because I'll talk about that next week. But I'm just like, if it's frozen in 1983 and that's the day that Will went missing, that means Will is a major key in all this. And that really makes me scared for him, because I don't know if that means like he has to die for all of this to end, or he has like, is he gonna have to sacrifice himself? And I've seen people say that they're like, I think it has to end with Will. And I'm like, what do you mean that has to end with Will? Does that mean he has to die? Because I've already said this before, but I really do not want the show to end with him dying, or him killing himself, or him sacrificing himself, or anything like that. Like, I will seriously cry. And it's not even because Will is my favorite character. It's just like he just does not deserve that. Like, he's been through so much since the very beginning. And like I said, in this season in particular, I just really like felt for him. Like, I just felt, I don't know if you want to say connected with him more this season. I don't know, but and I think just probably like with the whole like him being gay and everything, and him being in love with Mike and all that kind of stuff, like just all that stuff, and him going through like high school, and him just trying to figure out himself, and just all the trauma he has from when he was younger, and that never, I don't think I ever fully worked through that. And it's not like it's something he could talk to like anybody about. Like, he can only really talk to his friends about it. And at this point he's split up from his friends because he's living in California, and the rest of them are, they're in Hawkins. So I don't know, like I just felt a little bit more connected to him this season. So I'm really just like, please don't touch Will. Like, he's been through too much. Like, they all have, but I just really feel for him. I don't know how to explain it, but what do you guys think that means? Like, why is it so significant that the whole upside down is frozen at that time? I really want to know what that means. And why he would be the key to all of this. Like, I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand that. And again, I think they'll explain that more in the next season. But in the meantime, I do like to hear some theories, read some theories, and like to see what people have to say. Because sometimes they're right, or sometimes they're kind of like, you know, maybe not exactly right, but they kind of have a good idea and it makes sense to me. So I really want to know what you guys think. So please comment below, like, why you think Will is such a major key to all of this, or do you think he is a major key to all this? Because I feel like he is, but I'm also just like, what does that mean for him in the end? Like, oh God, I really don't want him to die, y'all. I'm really scared for that. Like, obviously we have some time until season 5 comes out. And I think there's going to be a time jump, so that they should be older in the last season. But the fact that this is going to be season 5 is going to be the last season, and so that just makes me really scared that like so many more main characters are going to die. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm going to get choked up thinking about Steve, because y'all know Steve is my favorite. And then, like I said, with Will and everything, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm really scared for him. But let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I will pick back up with this discussion next week. And again, if you haven't seen Stranger Things season 4, please watch it. Like, not even just to listen to me, but just please watch it because it's really, really good. Like, it's crazy, but it's really, really good. And the way it ends is going to trip you out. Like, it tripped me out for sure. So, highly recommend watching season 4 if you haven't seen it yet. And yeah, I'm going to wrap this up and I will see you guys next week. This has been really fun talking about this because there's just so much going on. And I'm sad that we're getting closer to the end of season 4, like the discussions that I've been doing. So again, please let me know like what other shows you guys want me to discuss. I haven't been watching like a ton of TV shows, so put me on. Tell me what's hot right now, like what I should talk about. It could be on Netflix, Hulu, or if it's on cable TV. Let me know, please, so I know what to talk about after Stranger Things. And yeah, like I said, I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So get ready because we're gonna dive into the finale, like the end of the finale next week. And yeah, bye bye. I'm gonna stop talking now. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.